And hi everyone, this is Bree.
And I'm Shy, and
Welcome to the MadeHerselfABoss Podcast, episode 1.
Oh,
so, as you can see, we are definitely doing things a little bit different this year. By the time you're seeing this, it's literally 2024.
Yeah.
And we just have some things that we thought was worth some conversation, some real down-to-earth conversation that other women who are looking to grow their businesses can relate to.
Absolutely. This podcast is really, I know we'll get a formal introduction throughout the whole thing, but really just breaking down like the methods and the methodology of the Made Herself a Boss framework. And like Bree said, more ways so that you are learning how to grow your business and really understanding the mindset shifts that need to happen in order to do that. But this episode is all about the shifts that you need to make going into the new year. But by the way, sometimes we really don't check ourselves because we really bring in old habits into a new year and expect the same thing.
Oh, I mean, we do that. Let's keep it real. We do that subconsciously all the time.
Yeah.
Like, just speaking to me personally, I can count how many times I've looked around my birthday or around the new year and thought, dang, I really wanted my year to be this and that.
Yeah.
And just self-evaluating myself, there was some old habits that I was bringing in. And it would really bother me because I recognized those habits same time last year and same time the year before that, same time the year before that. And, I would go in with the best intentions. But why did I keep falling back? And honestly, it's because I didn't have things in place for me to not have to fall back and default to bad habits, to poor structures, to panic modes, to living in lack, to desperation. I would start off so strong, but as soon as I would get comfortable and then things hit the fan, here I go again.
So let me ask, because you have experienced so much, and then like you said, you brought it into the new year. What made you realize, okay, this is another repeated pattern, and what was that first step that you were like, change has to happen?
Well, I can't even say you finally get to a point where enough is enough, because I hit that spot many times, as I just said. I don't think the hard part is, at the top of that year or that aha moment when you're going to do good for like a few months or however long. It's when it's that point where you were going to get comfortable. It's that point where you were going to go do it, but you decide, I'll be good. I'm fine. I can do this by myself. I don't need to ask for help. I don't need to, ask for anybody's advice. I can go to sleep and not have to, handle these things that I know that I need done for the meeting the next day, or, whatever it could be.
Right.
At that point in time, when you get comfortable and you tell yourself, I'm going to do it later, or I'm going to prioritize that later, I'm going to purchase that later. That's when you have to push. And when I finally started doing that, oh my God, the relief, that's when I found out, Shy, of all the things we talk about, that's when I found out that making money was easy. On the other side of pushing through that moment. And I'm kind of being vague about it because it could be anything for anybody.
Right.
But I think we all kind of get the gist.
Yeah.
That's what I found. Okay, it's easy to make money. All I gotta do is continue to follow my protocol. Boom.
That's good. That's so good. I think about listening to the steps and process that you mentioned. I think who you be, if that's the correct terminology, changed too. And I think about how you said when you got to the other side that you found out it was just easy. And then you were like, what was I doing this whole time? It was just, this is so easy. So what you guys picked up on what Bree just said was that she said, who must I be to experience this easiness on the other side? And a lot of times we don't ask ourselves, who must I be, right? In order to get the things that we desire. For her was, how am I making this money easily? But every year I'm doing the same thing and I'm expecting the same result, but nothing is changing. I think you said that's the definition of insanity.
It is the definition of insanity. It's The breakthrough is consistency because we live in an information age.
Yes.
We can go online. You can listen to Made Herself a Boss. You can you can do all types of things and get the information really fast about how to organize your business and just structure things to be easy. It's the consistency in doing it. It's the don't get comfortable and go into old habits.
Right.
Yes, it's going to be a little bit of friction. You don't feel like doing this right now.
Yeah.
Or you don't want to push that money out to invest in some help. And, you end up back where you were. Because don't set yourself out to do something different and then you don't do it when it matters.
What? Run that back.
Don't set yourself up to do something, but then you don't do it when it matters.
Oh, ouch.
Yes.
I mean, ooh, Brittany.
Like grace and ease is on the other side of that. And, I jumped into just starting my business.
Right.
After a few good cries and some signs from God, I jumped into it. And I'm sure everyone watching this knows that entrepreneurship is where you're tested. You are tested.
Oh my God.
And that was my hardest part, the consistency part. And life is so much better on the other side of like the discipline.
Well, this is so juicy good that we got to take a break because people got to pay their bills.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Are you tired of being the world's best kept secret where you're not attracting your ideal client, you're not being seen and heard in the marketplace, and as a result, you're not getting the consistent cash flow that your business deserves?
Girl, you deserve better, and we got something for you. It's called the Get Clear to Get Paid Masterclass, virtually from the comfort of your own home. We're going to introduce you to the Clarity to Cash framework. We're going to break down the 3 foundational pieces that you need to get clear in order to get paid. One thing we do know, 2 things for sure, is that if you are not clear, you ain't making no cash.
You ain't getting paid.
So meet us January 25th at 7 p.m. virtually from the comfort of your own home as we help you get clear so that you can experience more cash and flow in your life and business.
That's right. So in order to register, please go to MadeHerselfABoss.com/GetClearMasterclass and register today.
Oh, good.
So what do we want to do for the commercial?
So the commercial is going to be the Masterclass.
Okay.
The Get Clear to Get Paid Masterclass will be the commercial that gets inserted in the center.
Okay. Let's record that. Let's record the next because I think you want to rearrange the seating today.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So where we want to jump back in at?
I'm gonna go into where you ended off about the discipline. I'm thinking about how going into the new year, and it's the discipline and execution that always, besides the consistent action, that always wraps people up back to what they did the year before.
So we're back. We're definitely back. We had to pay those bills.
Yes.
And so we were talking about consistency and discipline and all those things that keep us stuck, keep us going back, waking up like, dang, how I get here again. All of that.
I think it comes back to, of course, what Brittany said, the definition of insanity is, but also I think what trips us is the execution and the discipline with consistent action that trips us up, and we're ended up doing the same thing or in the same position we were last year because of lack of discipline. And of course, we can trail that back into so many different factors if we want to get deeper and go down the rabbit hole on why the lack of discipline, what is the deep-rooted reason why. But for the sake of this, I want to talk about more of why not discipline. What is stopping you from, or what has stopped you from keeping that discipline going? And or, well, what does discipline even mean? I think about the consistency of doing something is what repeatedly, right? When you think of the word consistent, we think of repeated. When I think of discipline, I think of in spite of how I'm feeling, in spite of what I don't see, or in spite of the lack thereof.
To still do it anyway.
Right, to still do it anyway. So like, for example, we try a new strategy and we're looking at it and we're like, oh, it seems not to work. Let's change it again. Let's keep changing. What you don't know is every time you change, you delay a desired result every 90 to 120 days. So how would I know if anything works or if this strategy or this thing work if I'm keep changing every time it doesn't go my way?
Right. And don't get us wrong, we're not talking about the pivot.
Yeah. No.
Because there are points in time where you just have to pivot. You need to make a decision that's going to make sense. There's a difference between that and just not seeing the plan through.
Yes.
At the first spot of trouble.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're not receiving it. Oh my God, like it didn't like launch 1 million sales in the first 24 hours.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that your plan's not going to work. Okay, so let's talk about that. When's a good time to pivot versus got to see it through, my boy?
So I think a good time to pivot is when you've already done the measuring for what you already have done. So if this is something that you've already done and you're realizing there's a repeated pattern of it not going your way or going to the result that you're desiring, okay, now it's time to completely change course. But not necessarily pivoting when you're trying something new and you don't even have the data or the results to back up why it does not work. See, the thing is, we don't always put our business hat on and we don't always know why it didn't work. For us, we like to make sure, okay, the reason why it didn't work is because of this. And because we know this is because of the back data that we have, the back end system, some of the things that you guys don't want to deep in because of whatever reasons you don't want to, right? So I think knowing when to pivot is having the data to back up why I should pivot.
I love that answer because data is my new favorite word. That's my new favorite word.
Divine data.
This isn't the data episode, but I do want to say, in terms of pivoting and in terms of making changes, when you can make educated decisions when it comes to your business simply by doing the homework, doing the research, most of what we're doing, I won't say everything because TikTok shows me things, but most of what we're doing, we're not reinventing the wheel.
No.
And so there is some data that you can find out about your ideal customer's buyer persona. And to find that out, you can make educated decisions on how to talk to your customer, how would they like to receive whatever it is that you're selling. And like you said, if the data is showing that it's just a no from the gate, that's an indicator to pivot. But for the most part, see your plan through.
And like Bree said, the wheel's already reinvented. Why would you want to reinvent a whole new wheel? Find the wheel, work it, period. That's what we are. That's what we do. Okay, so another reason why we also bring in old habits into a new year is because we're not thinking about who we are desiring to be now versus our vantage point here, right? A lot of times we talk about our vision point versus vantage point. And if you don't know what that is, vision point is where you desire to be. Your vision point is where you currently are. And your vantage point is always skewed because it's where you currently are right now, right? So we always encourage any and everybody to always make decisions from their vision point, who they desire to be. And I think what we don't do, and the reason why we bring in those same things into a new year is because we are not acting as the person we desire to be in the moment, even though we are not that person yet. And it all falls back to the model of abundance. Who must I be to have the things I desire to have, right? And the trouble that we see is that you're too busy trying to have and figure out the how when you're not even being it yet. What you're supposed to do is be it now, embody it now. So if your desire, for the sake of the example, is to be a multimillionaire, well, what does she look like? What does she dress like? What does she eat in the morning? What is her habits when she gets up? Who does she deal with? Who does she not deal with? Who are her circles around? You know what I'm saying? Like, you must embody that now, today, act as if it's now, today, so that you're bringing it to your life's experience in that time being, right? So I think that we don't understand the embodiment. Or what does that mean? How do you embody? You do it now. So for an example, if I'm desiring all things luxury, even though I don't have those things yet, do small things that give you that experience. For an example, I took myself on a luxury all 5-star resort, yes, to the DR. I had my own butler just to be in the experience and the energy of luxury. And what does that feel to me? Now, that means something different for everybody, right? Because it's subjective, right? But I was embodying what luxury meant to me. And it kept me in the energy and it brought more to me. Mind you, I wasn't supposed to have a butler, but because I was in the energy, I kept getting add-ons and I was being it before I even had it, before I even made the plan to go there. See, you have to be it now before you even have it. And you're like, well, Shanika, made herself a boss. Like, $1 million is not in my account. I look at it. I just checked it. Yes, my friend, it's not. But you have to bring it in your life experience, and you have to give it a reason to come in. And a part of that is being it and embodying all of it.
I absolutely agree. First of all, I love that for you. Girl, you were living my best solo trip fantasy.
Yes, solo.
I only got my passport. That will be me again.
Go you. Yes, get your passport.
Exactly. But I mean, she's absolutely right. I think that more people should spend time figuring out who that person is and actually writing it down. Mm-hmm. And I say write it down so that you can refer back to it. Mm-hmm. Refer back to it, resonate on it, close your eyes, actually be that person and visualize that person. Yes. And, look in the mirror and visualize yourself being that person. And once you're able to do that, as you come across these different decisions, you can ask yourself, what would that person do? Right. What would me in that best light, in that mode, do in this decision? Because it is very hard, like you said, when you're in your vantage point, you feel like you're not worth all this money yet. Well, let me not say worth, because you're worth it, but I'm not currently owning or having all this money yet, or this point of position. And so you may feel like you have to tolerate things, move a certain way because you're not there yet. But why? Why wouldn't you? And a good scenario to ask yourself that, for those of you who are service-based, you know how not every customer is your customer. You don't have to take that customer. If your future self would not take that customer because there's disrespect, you just don't offer something that would best suit them, they don't suit you, it would be difficult, it's just not you living in that best light. If you're dealing with this customer, don't do it. Right. Don't do it. But that's the biggest takeaway that I would want to give to you. Definitely sit and write down as you visualize who that person is, your best self. And then as you go through your day, ask yourself, not just what would Jesus do? Remember that? Yes. What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? What would that person do in this scenario? And you will become that person because you're already thinking like her.
Yeah. Add that to your day-to-day morning ritual, evening ritual, all things rituals that you do, and walk into her every single day. That will bring more of what you're desiring for yourself to your life's experience all the time. So I know we talked about so much in this first episode. Let us know how you liked it, how you loved it. Drop a comment, give us feedback, share this with all your business besties, all people who need to make sure that they are not bringing in old things into the new year so that they can prosper and profit in their life and business.
All right. Thanks for watching. Make sure that you stay tuned for the next one. Bye.